Hey everyone, how is everyone doing on this Monday night? Monday, March. Sorry, I went back to January. As if I went back in time into the fucking past using the time machine. So, in any case, March 3rd, 2025. And so I'm doing my podcast after, I hailed back onto the Gotham area, New York City, New Jersey. Last week actually, I came back. Guess what? This time I came back with my wife and she's here. Hello, hello. You want to say hello?
Hello, hello.
She says hello. So, believe it or not, which she doesn't believe yet that she's here. Uh, Instead of, she's on the phone, she is here live action. First of all, obviously, I'm just happy that she's here and she's happy that she's home. I'm happy that she is home. And I have to specifically, say that from the bottomest, what the hell am I saying? From the bottomest? From the bottommost part of my heart, I want to thank all of you, my family, my friends, colleagues, everyone who uh, had all your well wishes, your support and everything during these 2 years of us not being together. We're trying to meet somewhere in Turkey, Albania, South Africa. Although we did explore, in that sense, we did explore some parts of the world. Those parts of the world, and it's just good to be back home. And this time, obviously, with my significant other, and I can now sleep in peace. Although, I mean, even when I was in Islamabad, I don't know if you saw my brief podcast, you listened to it. That my routine has changed. So now I get up early, which is good. But it's also kind of frustrating for a guy like me, who doesn't wake up until like 11 o'clock at least. I'm talking about weekdays, sir. I mean weekends, sir. Weekends, sorry. So if I'm up at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday or Sunday, it makes me feel weird. So I kind of stayed up late last Saturday, which was bad, which was not good. I guess I just wanted to, break that spell because I woke up like 7 o'clock Saturday, and I'm like, what the f. I do want to make that as a routine, which is good, but I do want to also sleep in on a Saturday and Sunday at least until 9:30, right? And I don't want to stay up late for sure. Except if it's like weekend, and even weekend, like I just I'm old. I'm biologically as well as mentally. I feel like for me to be out there, like at midnight and like fucking 1 o'clock in the morning, it's not, it's not good for me. All right. And then, I just want to spend time with my wife, and both of us, it has been just few days for her. So obviously she has to digest a lot of things. And the usual, I had to get her social security and all that, the license and all that. It will take time, hopefully soon. And then we actually went to the social security office today, right? It's just disaster, honestly. So they have the offices, but they don't actually take anybody, like walk-ins. It's weird. it's not that I walked into both of us walked into the social security office here in Newark, and it was just like nobody's in there except for the security guard. He was trying to basically help us, you know. You have to do it online, blah blah blah. You have to get the appointment, which we did. My wife got on the website and all that. So I'm saying, like, the services sector, especially in New Jersey, New York area, it's just so bad, man. You know, it's like the quality of life. That's less part of the quality of life, right? The service sector, you can't even like basically schedule an appointment for your social security. Now, the other disaster I'm hearing is the license. She has to take the road test and all that, right? I'm hearing that the road test, you can only schedule it like many months down the fucking road in New Jersey. So that's also a disaster. So we have to get that for her, as the next step. Although she has the license from Pakistan, driving license, she drives well. So housekeeping stuff we have to do, and then she will be, settling in slowly, and she already has been. And my apartment, when my sister was here last year, she did some cleaning, and then once I think I had cleaners, and then after that, I just thought, when you're a single guy, and I didn't do a lot of cleaning, and then my wife comes, and the right next day I'm in the office, she basically cleaned the whole thing, you know and I had to thank her for that. Then I bought her some dinner on Saturday night. We went out to the Turkish place, and so yeah, I'm back, and we are here at home. What? Listen, Cha, what are you trying to do? He said, no, don't use that one. Don't use that one. And yeah, so she is basically starting a new life here in America, her new home, first home. I had some good time. For most part, I had great time in Islamabad when I was there. Weather was nice, although some of the days were shitty. It was raining and cloudy and gloomy and all that, right? And but for most part, I spent time with my family, my parents, my dad, and my sisters, and we didn't go anywhere else. We just stayed there for like 2 weeks. And my niece, it was her birthday as well, so we kind of miss her, me and my wife, because she's my third sister's daughter, and she just turned one, and she's at that age where she's like very very like cute. Obviously, she's a cutie, and then this is the age when you are young, and you start interacting with other human beings, and then that's when it becomes more fun. you know so here we are, and the fucking weather is still a disaster, as my wife will explain it to you. For her, it's even a more disaster, because it's March, but the weather is still close to like fucking 0 degrees Celsius, which is 32, 33, right? And the wind chill doesn't help either. So, hoping, few more weeks of this disastrous weather, and then, spring is upon us. Spring is upon us, and, it's also my birthday, which is coming up, which I really don't want to do anything for that. It's just because, it's a big day for many other people, and I don't want to disclose my birthday, but whatever. Uh, my Irish brethren and sisters, they celebrate my birthday as St. Patrick's, and I was just talking to some people that called me, and it's also kind of weird, and also I kind of got depressed the other day. I was telling my wife, how now people are basically calling me and asking me, hey, how are you doing, what's going on, you know because my wife is here. It's like, really, like, you never called me, you never texted me, now you are like, oh. And I'm trying to get a logical sense of all that, but my wife, she's more grounded in that sense. She's like, why are you trying to be negative? It's a good thing. Yeah, it is a good thing. And we got to basically now catch up with my family, other family here. My sister, my brother-in-law. We had to go there, and then probably we're gonna meet up with some other families who are also new here. So it's good to be with new families and from the mountains. And hoping this year would be a much better year for many of us. I'm hoping for many of you. If you had a bad year in 2024, I hope, my fingers crossed, that this year would be a better one for you. And for your loved ones, significant other, and your business and all that. Speaking of which, I got so much fucking work, and I'm losing one of my other engineers, which is what I should have expected, right? Because I can't, afford to give them the salaries that these other big companies are giving them, and it's kind of sad to train them and then and see them go, uh, and then I was just finishing up some work because my wife actually cooked some food. She cooked some, like, chicken stew and rice and all that. It was nice. It's nice to, obviously, I love her. It's nice to have her here, and she obviously feels the same, that she's finally home, and and we got to support each other. Yeah, I mean, the difference is always going to be there, but there's the life of compromise we got to live. But the love has to be strong. That's what it is. And obviously, she has her own career that she'll be pursuing, in addition to she helping me. And I got to send proposals and blah, 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 etc., etc. But then, this is also kind of my therapy, for my own self, talking to just myself and, my 6 listeners, right? And so now stop complaining that you're lonely, sir. I know, right? But then also at the same time, and I have to tell my wife, and also remind myself that, and she understands that, all these years I have lived by myself. So I also had to adjust my own lifestyle, slowly, gradually, and it just, it's a process. It's a process. And this is the family life we want to live, both of us. And we want to sort of live a satisfactory life to a degree that we can afford, and with some happiness and obviously health, right, for both of us. And And I'm hoping, that this year I can get back on the turf and play some golf and, not like a maniac that I used to, hit drives at the drives, at the tees, and I will just like take it easy. But I do want to go out there, as soon as the weather breaks, and I'll probably get to the nine holer. I actually met a couple of my friends yesterday at Green Hook for that Knicks game, because there's nothing else going on right now as far as sports. But end of this month, baseball's back on. I'm not really into baseball too much or basketball. I've gotten myself into football. Obviously, that's the biggest sports in America. And then, for me to be part of sports would be golf. All right. Am I repeating myself? I'm sorry. I apologize. So, a lot of work, which is actually better. But sometimes I feel like maybe I should just kind of like prioritize, what kind of projects I want to take now that, it's not an issue for me to say, listen, man, it's not enough work, so I got to basically take anything and everything, right? And so I somehow have to make some executive decisions, At the same time, I don't want to turn down work, because it's still dough, right? There's our bread and butter, whatever, projects we do in terms of, buildings and engineering and inspections and all that, right? So, what else is going on, everyone? I was just actually listening to again because I did listen to this podcast with Elon Musk and Joe Rogan, but we were traveling and I didn't get a chance to listen to it. And my wife also wanted to listen to this one because obviously Elon Musk is the fucking alien, right? Is he? I don't know if he says that he's an alien, but I mean, how is that possible? He looks like a fucking human, although he acts like an alien. He knows it all in terms of technology and all that, right? He's just a brilliant guy with a very forward-thinking, tech-minded, sort of advanced formation of brain cells. Is that what I wanted to say in his skull? I don't know. I have no fucking idea. But so that's the that's what I was listening to, and he was talking about how fucking disaster the federal government is in terms of wastage and some of the things he said is stunning, honestly, which I don't want to talk about. I mean, you can listen to that podcast. But, I was more interested in, what he has to say recently about, the AI and the mission to Mars and all that, right? And he's pretty much set. AI, I think, is becoming this very sort of like, in his own terms, it is becoming a commodity instead of some sort of free thinking. What is it? Free base, free Scott free. I don't know. Instead of like an open AI, right? I think he actually coined that term, open AI. Now it has become not open AI, but all these like fucking computer chip companies and all that, right? They're making money out of that because they have whoever has the fastest computer chip, basically their stocks are through the fucking roof. All right. So the open AI concept, I think that's sort of gone according to his own, you know, terms and in his own words. Um, and then the mission to Mars, obviously, that has a set place in his company's mission. I think SpaceX, and he does actually want to have another home for human beings, just in case, in his own words, without putting his words into my mouth. If some disaster happens here, and then I talk about this all the time, that his idea is basically the real issue, I think, for us to be instinct extinct. I'm sorry, what the hell am I saying? To be extinct is the lack of population. What is my wife doing over here? All right. um, okay. Am I disturbing you? No. Okay. All right. So listen, I'm kind of tired, so I don't want to go on and on about like the whole hour podcast, but I did want to basically do this. This is like my weekly routine. So what the hell I was talking about? Okay, so extinction, right? So the extinction part, which is real, and you can look it up actually, in terms of how bad the population growth numbers are these days all over the planet, including, even I heard, China and even India in a few years probably going to have a population decline. Nobody wants to have kids anymore, and that is going to basically make us extinct. All right. Nuclear war, obviously, if that happens, hopefully not, because that would basically really make us turn into a science fictional dystopian sort of a movie scenario of where we would be if something like that happens. Climate disaster, I don't think that's going to basically make us extinct. So he does want to have, our next habitat, or habitable planet, which is in our solar system, which is obviously is Mars. And I agree with him that we should have had this a long time ago. But I guess now we can't. As much as we say that we should have done this a long time ago, we should have had a base on the moon, and then we should have also had a base on Mars by now. But I think everything actually happens with technology, maybe because we didn't have, like fast computers to process all the, what do you call, controls and everything, right? To have a better ship and faster communications and all that, right? So in few years, I mean, I don't exactly know the timeline where he is with his like fucking, what is it, the biggest rocket, Falcon whatever 9, Falcon 15, whatever the hell it is, right? That he wants to land on the surface of Mars. And obviously the NASA's mission, which is the Artemis mission. Well, when is that? Is that like 2030? I don't fucking idea, but that mission is also on the way, not on the way to Mars yet, but they're working on it, where they want to basically take a human to Mars, which would be obviously a stepstone, another stepstone, another milestone reached by humanity on this planet. And speaking of which, me and my wife actually, just impromptu made a decision yesterday to go to the Liberty Science Center here near our apartment buildings, and we saw one of the one of the shows in that dome planetarium. Is a small planetarium, and it was about a trip into the universe. Where there's do a simulation of how you basically leave the planet. What comes first? Our own moon obviously comes first, and then whichever the next planet is, which that would be Mars, right? Mars, and then Jupiter's moons, and blah blah blah, and then they talk about Jupiter's moon Titan. I think that also is a good candidate for life, because I think that there's water underneath and underneath the surface, and there's most likely there is microorganisms or unicellular life down there underneath the surface of Mars. I mean Jupiter's moon Titan, I think. And and then without basically stating the obvious, and then you go further away from the sun, and then you go towards the dwarf planets, and then the Kuiper belt comes, right? The Kuiper belt of asteroids and whatever the hell, right? And then you go further out, and the two Voyager missions, remember, those are still actually out there. I think they have left the Kuiper belt. And then the farthest in our solar system is the Oort cloud. Oort cloud. All right, so that's basically all the asteroids and comets and blah blah blah, right? And then Oort cloud is basically your last stop before you leave the solar system, and then you get to, if you get any further, you get to the next star system, I think Alpha Centauri. Although they didn't show Alpha Centauri, but they just took us into the heart of galaxy Milky Way. And the amazing part is that the Milky Way, obviously, every galaxy basically revolves around a massive black hole, all right? And that's how the galaxies are formed, because a massive black hole forms, which I think consumes a lot of big planets and stars, and that's how it actually becomes a black hole. And so we are basically just revolving around that black hole in the center of our galaxy Milky Way, all right? And then if you go further away from our own galaxy, you can see other galaxies, and then etc., and then it just becomes, oh my god, the whole fucking universe is so vast compared to our own existence that it just makes us, even in our own mind, make us dwarfs, not even. And that's why I don't want to, I don't want to look up the sky and look at and see the stars, because that kind of makes me depressed. Just looking at them and thinking that, oh, you know what? One of those fucking stars have a planet like ours, right? And there are beings in there, all right? Maybe or maybe not, but there is a maybe. 50%. There's a maybe not 50%, right? And then the depressing part for me is that, oh, wait a minute, so there are beings, let's say 100, whatever the hell, light years away. I can see their, star, but why can't we just meet? And that just makes me depressed. Uh, and I was telling my wife yesterday, but then, what can you do? That's the wish of you know, every person on this planet to, meet other civilizations in other star system, right? In any case, so I don't want to turn my podcast into planetarium. Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? My wife, I think she's tired. You're gonna go, okay, fine. I'm gonna finish that movie and then I'll join you. If you want to come back and watch the movie, I'm gonna finish in 10 minutes. Okay. I'm gonna finish the podcast. So what movie we were watching yesterday with Ben Mendelsohn and what's her name, Shailene Woodley, about some fucking, whatever, serial killer down in Orlando. Not Orlando, sir. Maryland, somewhere in fucking Baltimore, I think. And I was just tired. I couldn't finish it. We couldn't finish it. And then we just went to sleep, which is good, sleeping early, sleeping, on time. And, especially weekdays, you got a lot of fucking work. But obviously, I want to get, at least like 7 hours of sleep for me to function, All right, everyone. I presume you all are having a great start of the week. Just bear with me, just bear with the weather. It's gonna break. It's gonna break, and it's gonna break into like 60. See, that's the freaking problem up here, right, Northeast. There's no like real spring here. By the end of April, right, it's gonna go from like 40 degrees to like all of a sudden 78 degrees. All right. And so it goes from like winter to summer. Yeah, we do have fall. I agree, but we don't really have a real spring. All right, just a couple of weeks of like maybe that kind of weather in between, and then that's it. And then all of a sudden you are in shorts and t-shirt. Winter here is long. Obviously, that's also kind of like new for my wife because I think she was expecting, leaves by now, at least, the buds. No, the buds don't come out, not even buds don't come out until first week of April, if I remember, if I recollect. And then really towards May, when you really see the spring, kind of like the pre-summer spring. Pre-summer. What is that, sir? Isn't that spring? All right, so everyone, is there anything else I want to talk about? I think that's it for now. And hopefully I'll do a whole hour podcast, and I do want to talk about a few things. What things, sir? Well, I mean, things like the ones that I like to talk about. One thing that I have to actually say to myself, okay, so man, did you actually now realize that, you are with your significant other? You have to spend time with her, and then are you having a balance of life? Sort of. But again, this whole thing is also new for me, and so, I have to basically make the most of it, just that, I'm getting a little bit of like, what do you call, work, what do you call, burnout, because of, these all these deadlines, and I have to do proposals and etc. etc. But But then, work never stops. So, in any case, all right, everyone. I think I did the 35 minutes already. And with that said, I'm going to close out my podcast. I assume again your week is going just fine. All right, and I'll see you all next week.